Hello everyone and welcome back to another Solution 2 video. Today, a little bit later as you might have noticed, so I was away over the weekend so I didn't really have time to prepare this one, but since I had the day off, today I figured I could just, record and edit and upload it in the morning, which was actually not the case, as recording is a bit after 12, so there's that. But either way, we're still going to see it at least on the day it is supposed to go live, and we still have an interesting game here with Dédé versus Gustgod. This is game 2 in FOB Arena, Season 1, Division 3, I think, quarterfinals. And we have first Mechanized versus first Pancelos. So it's an interesting choice because both are actually quite good for this map specifically. And so both are divisions that, would have expected to be banned. So I'm actually quite excited to see them at work. I'm still surprised that Mechanized even made it, because that's definitely the most scary of the two. Generally speaking, it's also the stronger of the two in this matchup, I would think. So I would expect Gustgod to have first pick and Dédé have counted. Otherwise, I would have some question marks for Gustgod there. But either way, interesting choices. We're going to talk a little bit more about in detail about them when we go to the decks. So let's do that. And we start off with third guard Mechanized. So this division is definitely a good one for this map. And I think very clearly the better of the two in this specific matchup, because third Mechanized just counters first Pancelos very well, as we're going to see when we look at some of the units that are in first Pancelos. As for the build, so to recap, we have to carry Gustgod is really nice because this is basically 50 cal for 10 points. Nothing to complain there. Snipers, always good. Rozvedka, always good for the bazookas and whatnot. And just some extra recon, so that's not bad at all. Infantry tab, here is where we have some odd choices. Now, first off, we get the Superior PPSH, which I don't think is an odd choice in general. It is a very useful unit, and especially with this build, because if you look closely, we do see that there's not that much speed. If you look at the support tab, we don't see any flamers, we don't see a fast machine gun. So having Superior PPSH, which can rush forward and just generate you a little bit of a delay that you can cause on your opponent, and give you a little bit of breathing room, can help a lot on a lot of maps, this one specifically as well, of course. And then we do have Kavada DP in A, B, and C phase, which is nice. And then we have the Partisani as well, this is where it gets strange. So the regular one, the Partisan DP, or the Partisan DP actually, is at single with better availability. There's nothing special there. This is a good unit. Really nice to have. He comes in with a bit slower transport, which definitely matters, but the Gavada DP are here too, so range should not be an issue. But the Partisani is where it gets odd. So they come in at 12 with 0, which is absolutely no way of taking this way. Partisani are okay, but they decided not to take them at single vet, which I think is a major mistake. Their loadout is not bad, but you still there are a lot of rifles which add up and make it chunky, which is nice, but ultimately still a few SMGs and a Molotov, and you need the SMGs to pump out the damage. So this is where I think you really should single vet them. I think the availability, from what I remember, is also 8, so that should be good. Also, if you want to have all the CQC you want, you could definitely take the last slot in at 3 activation points. There's some other things that you could let go of in this build, in my opinion. Then you would have room for that. But I think this is definitely a very weird thing. That can definitely matter. Now, no leader in A phase. However, he has a Valentine leader in A phase. So no infantry leader, I should specify, in A phase, which can kind of make up for that everywhere except in the forest. But it's also very cheap, so that makes sense. Something that we've seen some people do more and more often lately, take one leader card in B phase and not in A. Then tankers in B phase as well. Tank tab, Valentine's in A and B phase, so those are going to be fantastic counters to the Turans. The Valentine should easily outclass some Shermans. Also going to be very annoying for that same purpose. He takes all of them at single vet, so no double vet tanks. No vet on the T-3045. Again, major mistake there in my opinion. Tanks always should have at least some better support. 50mm MG42, which is important to say here. There's 2 options here, the MG42 and the SG43. The SG43 comes in with a fast transport, whereas the MG42 comes not. And the MG42 actually comes in as low transport. So this is where these choices again matter, but this is why the speed of Superior PPSH matters. And then Commander, which is also very odd. I don't think this is one of the divisions that needs a Commander. Then again, he has a lot of leaders in the tank and infantry tab, so at least, the Commander is not wasted at all. Ammo, AT tab, no AT guns actually other than the 45mm, which is another odd choice, but again, he's mostly afraid of the the Turans. SU-76 is an A and B phase, not bad either, to counter Turans and potentially Stuks up closer. It's definitely not as good against Turans as the Valentines, but it's still useful. Though I would definitely bet the ones in A phase. SU-85, which is the only Stuk killer here, so having more of them might be better, although the T-3045 can definitely do it as well. But he has nothing of that in A phase, so that could be potentially an issue here. The 85mm could actually have taken A phase to at least have something against the Stuks. But he didn't, and then 37mm in the A tab as well. Artillery tab, quite large for this division. This is just not an artillery division, so I don't need that much. But 82mm mortar are at least nice for the movability, but they have less ammo. Cis-3 and F-22 are both fine for what it is. Of course, don't expect any miracles of them, and off-map, very good full snaps, of course. Air tab, nice options all around that he brings. Tier 2F for some recon. The Cobra is really good in this division specifically, and then the L4 has a big bomb loadout too, which is quite nice as well. Moving on to Gustgod's build for Pancelos. Now, the odd options continue, but now we can at least also talk about why this division is, I think, significantly worse than the other one in this matchup. So, generally speaking, for this map, it is a good pick, but the matchup makes it very rough, in my opinion. In the recon of it, you have the recon units, the regular 15.1, but you have the Toldis, and then the SS Light of Claire, which, if you just want some more recon at double that, this is actually a very good choice. For 20 points, still very affordable. It spots very well. However, if he hopes to get some combat use out of it, that's not the unit to take. It's not that good. But Infantry, of course, in A phase, only Hungarian units, as it is with this division. You have the Motlovers, which is not bad, not good. It is okay. Then we have the Flamer, which is basically Sturmpire with 1 man less, and a different SMG for still 20 points, which is not bad. Mod Haroshaje, which has an MG42. It's basically like a Pioneer with an MG42, which is not bad, actually. It's a nice hybrid. And then in B phase, we get the Tatarlik Haroshaje, which don't have a machine gun, but are disheartened and cost only 15 points. And yeah, I mean, it's very spammy. So CQC spam all the way through. Leader here also only in B phase in the infantry time, and then of course SS Right Deck and SS Right Pioneer. SS Right Deck being a little bit of a stronger Panzer Grenadier, and the SS Right Pioneer of course being the special unit here with double flamer. And so he brings both of these units at double vet. He has 2 cards of SS Right Deck, and that brings it to only 67 infantry in total. Now, out of those, 16 are disheartened grenade spammer with no range capabilities whatsoever. I mean, they do have the rifles, but that doesn't really add up enough. And then, yeah, another 6 of those are leaders. So there's not actually that much line infantry there at all. Or like proper infantry can actually be used sustainably. That can, you know, survive a fight and continue on. So that is a very interesting of a choice there. It's definitely very risky, especially in a balanced mirror grind. So this is where this goes. I actually really like the veterancy here, but it is very risky because again, if you have those balanced mirrors, if you have income mirrors, it can very often turn into a very long grind, and you tend to run out in those, especially if you have this few infantry. But the veterancy, of course, can help you win those fights, and then potentially you're not gonna get into the grind. So that is the other side of this. Tank tab, Toldis, Turan 1s and Turan 2s. We have Turan 2s in each phase. 2 of them in B phase, actually all at double vet. I love it. The 1 Stuk leader that you get in B phase, and then in A phase it brings the Toldi 3, which I first thought was a bad choice because Toldi 3 is actually a light tank in terms of health. All of these, if you look at what the text box says, when you hover over the unit, it says light tank. However, Turan 2 and the Turan 1 actually have the health of a medium tank, but the Toldi does not. It also has less armor, and it is 10 points cheaper, than Turan 1. So, you know, that might be fair, but it can get one shot. However, just actually check the Valentines only do 6 damage, so the Toldi still won't be one-shotted because it will have 8 health. So it's actually not that bad of a choice, since ultimately the Valentine will pen either of those, but the Toldi will be cheaper, and it has the same gun like the Turan one. So it's actually a really nice choice there that I first completely dismissed, but now I noticed. Support Flamer, Schwarlose. He brings also Schwarlose in B phase, which makes a lot of sense looking at the infantry tab, so he needs something to fill the gap where he might not be able to call in infantry all the time, so the Schwarlose is definitely a nice option there. The T-tab, very reasonable, 75mm, pack 40, Stux only in B phase. He could take them in A phase or in C phase. There's 2 cards of it. But only takes 1 is an interesting choice for me personally, because runs will struggle against Shermans and DT34. So this is where the Stux can definitely help. A-tap, Nimrods, and Jessica's turn 1. He doesn't bring the Nimrod 42M, which is very good, because that one has another heat shell you don't need actually, and it just makes it more expensive and gives it a worse wet curve. So this is definitely nicely up-vetted Nimrod and up-vetted SDK sets and 1. This air tab, AA tab is quite large and relatively affordable, so it is good to see that Gustgod makes use of it. To tab, the 105. This is the early FH18, which sucks. I really don't think it's good even now, even at 55 points. 150 Nebelwerfer, 149, definitely smart as well. Fighter in B phase, odd choice with this AA tab, I'd say. And then the HS129, you can't bring either of those in A phase, as far as I can recall. But the HS129 definitely makes sense here, because again, I think the thing that, you know, first one just needs to be afraid of the most in this matchup is, I think, the armor tab of for Mechanized. So the HS129 is definitely a good choice here. And here we are again. Let's look at the deployment as always. So down south, of course, is where blue could easily get 3 flags with a big push. But we don't see that happening. We do see some reconning for the open bazooka over here to prevent any rushes, and then some regular infantry as well as a tall D3. So very strong defense deployment there by Gustgod. It's not a place where red side often pushes or generally does strong pushes, as it is not a good way of playing it, but it is sometimes happens. But Gustgod not taking any chances here. Maybe a bit over investing over there, which could prove fatal, honestly. Then we do have 2 superior PPSH rushing in here, by looks of it. 1, I think, defensive over there. No, both. Yeah, no. This one's go over here. Maybe a little bit too far forward, but it might be okay. You can like hide in these places here and put it so that, you know, if something drives through, you can actually hit it with the Pancelos Deck, recon over here, and then Valentine and Rozvedka. Rozvedka also going over here. Wow, okay, that's quite a bit of AT there in place. Main push coming into town, of course. No big surprise there, really. This is very often for both sides the major place push right here. Like, blue side sometimes makes a big push over here. But most often, this is where the action is at the start. Of course, you have like some skirmish over here, sometimes over here. But usually this is the main push. And we see that here as well. We do see quite a bit of armor with some Karadushkas, Valentines, and Valentine leaders. So a lot of tanks there. On that, we do see a lot of rushy things. Superior PPSH, M42, 50mm mortar, recon, and then not a whole lot of actual infantry. Just 2 Gavada DP and 2 Partisani. AA in early as well, which is actually really not necessary if you know the matchup, because first Pancelos doesn't really have that many planes. It does have some recon in A phase, which it might be the old, like the wacky slow plane that can do a little bit of strafing. That is possible, but I think all of that is not to be expected. So I definitely wouldn't invest into it at the start. That's where I'm going to here. Gustgod, on the other hand, brings the Nimrod early on. For him, that makes a lot more sense, since third Mechanized can bring strong planes right from the start. We do see him rushing in here with Flamers. And, tries to get into Church Tower. Also bring in early Bazooka, and then some Motlovas and Haroshaje. So rush into here defensive. We're not that much going here, which can be dangerous if that actually pushed that. I've not actually checked. That is deployment overall. Defensively in this area, a little bit aggressive, but not too aggressive overall. So he's mostly trying to clash in here versus Gustgod. So that's not actually anything uncommon there. But not a lot of infantry on either side. I do have Toldy Freeze and the Toldy 2A and an early 105. Very close, actually. So they could potentially at least do some work. This thing really sucks, but if it's that close, maybe. Also, bringing it right at the start actually might work. That could work. Another one coming in here, also very close. So this is maybe the one scenario where I can see this being good, but I probably wouldn't buy 2 at the deployment. I would probably buy 1 and then just use it to grind up slowly. And you still have to bring it close. Up north, Gustgod going very defensive. So he's actually sent something in here from over there. It's probably Schwalos. Yep, there we go. Another one trying to put another one over there. And then he's actually trying to contest this, putting something here defensively. Probably an AT gun. Yep, there we go. And then a Tolly in here. So he tries to contest this, which is something that usually red side will pressure. We do see this here as well. But yeah, he needs the superb PPSH for that. Oh, another one is... So they're going in here defensively. Okay, nothing special there then. And yeah, some Partizani 50 mil. The actual strong Seeker units here are going to be a little bit delayed, which is going to matter. So this is where the speed really makes a difference. This thing is, I think, is 60 kilometers an hour. Yeah, it is. But as I said, I think this thing is really horrible, but I think if you bring it this close and early on, it might generate some value in the long run. But generally speaking, I think 2 of those in the deployment makes it expensive again, so I don't think it's worth it, considering that it's quite a bad artillery piece. But let's see. Let's see. I'm also curious about how this is going to work out here. The fact that these come in cheaps makes a big difference, because these, of course, you know, are a little bit slower. But I think around here we should see the findings. So, oh, actually, let's see. It really depends on who unloads first here. Because then I think the Flamer will probably win this. Although 4 PPSHs against the Flamer, I don't know, it's 3 Flamers now, they will win. 50 mortar being put to work already over here. This is a very complex of things to be, of course. Recon goes down, Motlovas unfortunately unloads in there. It will find the purpose which grabs this flag. Basically left these 2 buildings as an option if you want to hold this flag. The problem is if you put something here is still going to be enough. 50 mil being put to work here, but if these push forward, which they do, it might not be that useful. All things considered, armor blob is arriving over here. Partizani are gonna get in. Same for the Rozvedka and Superb PPSH. 50 mil is also in there. Just a Flamer here won't cut, will not cut it. And over here things are quiet. Looks like this thing got killed in a transport. Valentines are arriving. The Toldies can still do the work here for now. It's pretty much uncontested. The 45 mil here died. The Haroshaje, of course, doesn't have any AT. But once they arrive, the Toldies will struggle over here. Now, Nimrod against Valentine is actually something that could work, because the Nimrod, remember, has 8 health. Now, so it used to be 10, where it could actually brawl with tanks. Now, you don't really want to do that, but against the Valentine, with its 6 damage, it could be. The problem is the Valentine also fires very fast, so I'm not really sure if the Nimrod can either suppress or fully kill the Valentine before the Valentine will hit twice, so that could be an issue. One of those are being put to use. Actually, for once, hitting very close to where he wanted to. But yeah, I think at this range, within radio, it might actually be good. So, or at least okay. I would still prefer light artillery for this, honestly. But, you know, if you don't have any light artillery, I think this might actually do it now. Since, you know, if, like an SK-18 this close, you don't want to do that. This is recipe for disaster. So you're going to lose it 100%. 13-11 for Dédé still, with him holding the north here. 15 mortar trying to pin whatever the tries to push in there. And it does so quite well. It looks like the Rozvedka died, and so did Superb PPSH, but Partizani are still alive. So those are going to be a bit of an issue there. More Turans, this time Turan 2s and Motlovers coming into the town. Not being unloaded though, just getting in there to do what they need to do. So there's 3 artillery pieces coming in, 3 of them. So let's see how they will do against the 105. I think this is the problem here. Now these are actually 60 points. I think they're actually more expensive, ironically. But I think they will still win out. Not because of the radio, but just because of the fact that they have a better rate of fire and will eventually just overwhelm it. Yeah, this is, you see the spread. This is the issue. As soon as you want to use it at that range, this is where they start to fail. Really not that good. For this here, maybe, but we will need to see more of it. So far, no tank here has died by looks of it, but Valentines have arrived and the Toldy will struggle. And the Sherman is not going to make things any easier, really. Oh, here, Toldy versus Valentine. I think we're going to see the fight. No. Oh, Toldy spots a Sherman. Gets a side shot, but fails to pen. Sherman will easily kill that. Paul is trying to move away, but fails to do so. Artillery shells come in. Ooh, wait, what? This thing tried to go after Valentine, but failed to kill as well. We don't see Panzerfaust missing very often, but this time we do. There we go, the 105s being put to work again on the town over there. These threes are splitting the fire, although two going after that one, so that's okay. I guess. It's at least 1 versus 1 and then 2v1. Yeah, I mean, that is... Oh, we can't see the spread here. Unfortunate. It's automatically targeting. But we can see how quickly the 105 is pinned, right? There we go. One of them is being put to counter battery, but yeah, these things with the rate of fire... I mean, look at the difference, right? 10 rounds a minute. 4 rounds a minute. Now, of course, this does more damage and suppression, but... Look at the difference. It is definitely... considerable, but it's not that big at the end of the day. And they're falling back. But, you know, they're still alive and only 55 points, so... There's that. There was just a discussion on Reddit a bit earlier today. This is why I'm actually curious now to see that playing out, because actually... We could... Oh, look at that! Valentine goes down to the Tarantus. Yeah, he turned off the AP shell so that only the heat shell is used, which is terrible accuracy, 25%. However, at this range, you know, as you know, accuracy, so this is the accuracy at max range, but as the closer you get, the more the accuracy increases. So it's not horrible that close, it's still not great, but this at this range you can actually pen something like the Valentine reasonably well, at least. The other one being focused on as well. I don't see out of those really killing us. Oh, and Gustgod's gonna have an issue here. He's put it in right next to reinforcement road. That can potentially unload some of these units over there. The problem with these things is, while they're not too bad, their accuracy is also not that great. It's just not the best artillery piece. And oh, actually got a hit. Oh, look at that. Up north, Valentine in the open here as well. Totally 2 should struggle, but there we go. Survives to 1 pen. 50 mortars going after whatever it was here, probably. But isn't here anymore. Valentine will really struggle to fight these off. So here he can probably just walk in with the Panzerfaust and get hit on it. But there we go. Flamer and Mod Arkazak pushing in. Bazooka coming in as well. Nice little move forward if Partisanians are per PPSH, as these units failed to really fight those off, and Valentines are just pushing in. There's nothing to stop them. It looks like all the Toldies here have died already. Durango killed by a Panzerfaust though, Bazooka. That's great for Dédé, for Gustgod. Dédé is coming in with Partisan DP, so even more firepower for the time. Gustgod is strong. This is where this is a problem, right? If you have these right at the start, one of them actually died. Wow. If you have these right at the start, you have the issue that you might not be as well defended as you need to. Nimrod up north as well, which might have been a bit of an over-investment actually. It's just that we haven't seen any airplay yet. Quite a lot for Dédé still, but he's getting pushed back over here. And I think once he's out of the forest, he's not really going to get back into, since he doesn't really have the resources over there. He's trying to send in Partisani, but considering the slow speed, this is one of those cases where you kind of have to anticipate what's going to happen, and you just have to accept that you lose this and you need to fight over that anymore. Actually, with the Cobra coming in, that could change things. Nimrod is moving in closer. Might be able to stop it. I think the way of trying to move around here and then attack actually hurt Dédé here, because otherwise he might have been able to get rockets off, which now he failed. Nimrod is actually in a potential danger spot, but nothing's pushing along this area over here. Also, you have to say that snipers got in here, and whatever tried to get in here apparently failed. But I can't see burning wreckage over here anywhere. 105 going after the Basan DP here again. Gustgod about to lose the town. He has brought in reinforcements. I think the bigger issue is to take... Oh no, the 75 mil takes a wrong turn here and gets unloaded right in front of Valentine's. It's out of range of the Karadushka, so that at least helps. But the Karadushka is now pressing forward. Oh, heat shell misses, and it is now in range. if the 75mm gets stuck on the Valentine, it will not shoot the Karadushko. It's actually the bigger threat over here. Gets a pen on the Valentine, but it's going to get pinned. Now, there we go. Yeah, this is very unfortunate. Of course, the AT gun will always focus the thing with the highest armor, which is going to be the Valentine, not the Karadushka. But the Valentine, despite having a higher rate of fire, is not the biggest threat here because the machine gun, it doesn't have one. Right? Yeah, it's very annoying, of course, when they take these wrong pathings too close to the enemy. Of course, you would have needed to go like over here. That would have been the safe way of doing it. It happens so often. It happens to the best of us. It happens to me plenty often. Not trying to imply that I'm the best of us, but it definitely happens to me as well. Oh, there we go. The other one goes down. Huge. Yeah, the big investment here has paid off. It's still 180 points, which is not, you know, it is considerable. The AA finally paying off as well, as you can force with the HS-129. That was immediately called in as we have reached B phase. Cobra is trying to get on the back of it, but he's going to fly into the Nimrod. Now, if... No, that is not unfortunate. If that was really unfortunate, could have turned this way and gotten the burst off from 2 Nimrods, which could have been potentially lethal. Because it's already smoking. I imagine he flew over the other one as well, but they're getting lucky here. Still holding 2 flags and Tanchvalas are coming in. This is the problem if you take machine guns over infantry, which Gustgod kind of has to do. You're looking at his infantry tab. But the problem is you're ending up with these units that are just not nearly as flexible as actual infantry. Tuldi versus Valentine here. Valentine gets a pen, totally fails to pen. Nimrod now being focused down. It is open top, so he can potentially take a lot of damage. We had a bazooka taking out another Valentine here earlier on. Lovash here trying to fight off the Partisan DP and the regular Partisani over here. But now at least good German infantry is available for Gustgod. There we go. We had a 15-9 real quick for Dédé, but 14-10 as Gustgod decided that it's time for him to push through. To run 2 somehow is knocked past here. I don't know how that happened, because there's a 45mm, but I guess it was always it was moved in a position where it got stuck here. But Sani, though, will kind of hold up this a little bit. I might fail against this Nimrod being brought up very close. Risky, but that you can at least force off the tier 2F. And looks like Gustgod's push is going to net the flag here. Still needs to dig out the Partisani eventually, though. Oh, it is in a place where it gets spotted out of cover. And this thing with an MG42 will definitely do the work over here. To run 2 being, I know, this is a weird placement for it. Or Sveshka might actually die here too. But this flag here being grabbed by a Dédé, since there's nothing here to deal with that. B49 got in, tried to deal with the tier 2F, but it looks like tier 2F got out. At least I can't see any signs of a crash anywhere. No. This is a decent one, I think. Yeah, it is the one for 30mm. Still a little bit expensive, but it is also quite fast, which not a lot of BF109s are. Even close to that. That definitely matters here. Stück versus... No. It's not going after the Sherman. Looks like it really has a little bit of suppression, but it's not actually a Stück. Now, the Partisan DP have the main advantage of not having, or major advantage of not having any AT, so the Tuldi 2 will actually be able to deal with that. This flag being, though, almost grabbed by extensions, so this, even if he doesn't get it, this will let Dédé know that there's basically nothing there, and Gustgod really needs to reinforce this, which he does only with armor. That's definitely risky. You need some infantry to hold the line over there, which I know he has not a ton of, so I can see where he's coming from there, but he still needs it. There we go, SSI Jäger coming in. 3 of them, all 3 in this area. But again, the problem is Gustgod needs to be careful. He doesn't have an endless amount of it. So Stück might be able to snipe the tanker, that would be huge. Although the tanker would probably lose against the SSI anyway. Oh, Stück versus Emcha. Emcha, no, he's not going to get a side shot. 2v1 though, they will probably pen. No, oh, this one got penned previously. Stück's going to get an easy kill there. That's huge. Now the Tuldi is going to involve too, or tries to get involved at least. Whereas the is going to die here against the tanker, I would think. Unloaded in the transport, there we go. Now it is going to die against, oh, it's, no, it's too close for the flame. I'm not really sure why Gustgod bought another one. He has already one here, just needs to move that up a little bit closer and get the kill over there. Stück turned again, so this would be another time for Dédé to like push out there and have a little go at the Stück over there. Partisan is still here. It looks like the Haroshaje died. Yep, we do see some flames from Molotov. Rozvetka actually survived. He's in a spot where it could quickly become dangerous for Turan. Oh, the Turan over here. No. Oh, T-44 got pinned by pinned again by a Pack 40. Down he goes. That's a big kill there. It's marked though. So that an airstrike or an artillery strike could follow. The problem is these are really inaccurate for that. It might be in range. I don't remember what the max range is. It's actually unlimited. Okay. But yeah, it's not that good. The accuracy will just be horrible. Pack 40 here did get unloaded. It's now moving into a cover position into covering position over here, where it can cover off the open over there. That's definitely good. Things have quieted down considerably. Another pack, no, the 75mm here pushed open, pushed down the open. Now applying pressure from the flank. Nice move there, actually engaging with the Cromwell, with the Valentine, getting a kill over there. I could potentially start sniping some of the other units in here. What's going after T-3045? Now remember, this is a heat shell, so it will struggle penning the T-3045, but it can still do it, since it is not bound to the range. Oh, sniper actually reveals itself. Just gonna get killed very soon by the Pack 40, I would imagine. So it's actually, I don't know when it got spotted, if it was turned off deliberately, because I didn't see it getting shot at. Ooh, Pack 40 is not in a position where I can see those, though. Stuk is too slow to respond, but as Cast Dédé got in here as well. Ooh, no. Oh, they can soak the other one, though. No, they don't. They do. Does it mean it survive? Yeah, it's not a CQC unit at the end of the day. This could unload, though. And again, as Cast Dédé, they can just move forward a little bit to a place where they can actually do some work. 1410 for Dédé still. Gustgod still holding up over here. There is Vetka's not actually moving to a position where he can stop the Turan. As the Raipene coming in, they should win against Partisan easily. Not T-3045 coming in over here, though. Out of range of the Pack 40. Which is very important, of course. Cobra is coming in again. Nimrod is dangerously close over here to the Valentine, but the Nimrod should be able to... No, it can't stop it. See, this is why this thing is so good. It is decently fast. It has a good rocket loadout, and of course, rockets usually get, used way earlier than bombs, as you don't need to be super close. Looks like the Nimrod over here did go down. Don't know to what. This is probably it. Yeah, there we go. So Nimrod, as I said, 7-1 is coming again a little bit close. You have to be careful with something moving over here, but this is not a bad position. Although if you've lost this, it can be a bad position. So Pinif finally clears out the tank over there. Stuk 3 here, getting shot at, and either killed whatever shot at it, or it just failed to see it. There we go. HS129 coming in up north, trying to take out the Valentine there. Could maybe have another go at the T. Yeah, there we go. I was saying the Sherman if you can spot it, but a T-3045 is of course a valid target as well. Just needs to be careful in case there's two Cobras. It could be dangerous for it, as it has a slow turning radius, and it's going to turn right in front of here. So it's easy to get at the back of it. No, actually, it's turning quite fast. Surprised by that. Maybe that one doesn't have super slow turning radius. A super, big turning radius. Actually good. Blob of Stuks and Turans is now engaging the infantry and armor blob here. S-35, which is good at range over here, can now easily get pinned by the Turans, or at least realistically get pinned, so that is definitely a bit of an issue over there. 129 gets stopped by the 37mm as it tries to re-engage for the T-3045. But at least finally this thing doing some work. This is where, some recon planes for Gustgod would have been a good call. Generally speaking, though, since, tanks can easily just move out of vision, and then you lose line of sight on them, and the AT plane can't do anything. Now, obviously, this is not the issue here, but still something to consider, since that can definitely change things around. Now, Gustgod has almost lost half of his tickets, and he's brought it just back to 12-12, and even that is a close one. He's not really holding it super strongly. He can get pushed out of this reasonably. Oh, T-34 did push forward, and the Pack 40 is punishing him for that. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. SU-85 over here tries to engage as well, and no, T-34 ID5 comes out alive. That even rhymes. Look at me. You do see some preparations for a fresh push down here by Gustgod, so it's actually really nice use, or really nice reading of the map. He kind of expected, we think how things have been going up north in the town, he's kind of expecting that down here there's probably not that much there, and he is correct. You know, there's only a few units here now. There's of course D3045 over here now, but that is not the end of the day. Ooh, Pack 4 just barely hasn't spotted T3045, or maybe just has not been spotted yet in general. No, this thing should have spotted it. Actually, line of sight tool says no. Line of sight says that this should see it though. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just barely out of range. Over here, SU-76 now versus Stuck. That's a good engagement for the SU-76, which it appears to win with the gun champ, and now T-3045 comes to finish the job. Stuck 3G here, doing some infantry support, which of course it doesn't have a great amount of HE shells since it's an AT version. T-3485 engaging it. They trade, which honestly, considering that Gustgod doesn't have a huge amount of proper tanks, it is not some sort of Turan, I think this favors Dédé actually, despite him not having as many T-3045s as Gustgod has Stuks overall. Air Cobra getting forced off by the Nimrod as he tries to go after the HS-129, which is still trying to get rid of that T-3045, but now an 85mm is coming in as well. BF-19 is in again, but a little bit too slow. Promise is just a bit too fast for it. Oh, load of wounded on the Stroke 3 over there. We do have 2 Nebels in preparation here though, so Gustgod can either, if he knows what's here, just focus one thing, one area, or he can just focus multiple at this range. These should pin fairly well, and then he can just move in. So let's see which of the 2 he's doing. Just need to keep an eye on, it, and not to forget that T-3045 did actually die to the HS-129 battle. So it's now going after the Sherman, which it has lost line of sight to. A line of sight on, by the looks of it. Another 85mm coming in here. So Dédé, I think, is overreacting a little bit here to the use of the Air Force. And also, of course, you know, wants to use this probably for long-range AT. It's a good dual-purpose thing. I just think that you probably don't need to here. I was actually going to try and snipe it. That would have been pretty insane. But unfortunately for Gustgod, it's not going to work. Then south, we do have the Nebel. No, one of them hasn't loaded. The other one has not yet. So we're not going to get to see yet what's going to happen over here. Another stick coming for the town and some infantry reinforcement. So Gustgod has to be careful. He's definitely used a lot of towns and planes. Or tanks and planes. One of which, by the way, just did go down. Huge kill there for Dédé. Because, you know, that thing can still do a bit of work, especially down south too, where there's no air yet. But he's still also not buying small amounts of infantry. So this could potentially be an issue in the long run, as he will eventually run out, and that's going to be devastating for him. Down south, we do see the air cover now. Oh no, T2F coming in. I expected it to be the air cover when I saw it on the map. It's getting forced off by Nimrod, but it's going to let Dédé know that something's coming. So Dédé probably had the same idea. I was like, okay, things not looking super good up north. Town has somewhat quieted down a bit. So why not push down south? Or see if push is coming. And he was right. One level forcing the focusing the forest patch over here, which is not where anything is, but it's a reasonable place to assume something to be. And there we go. Yeah, he tries to cover both those areas so they can push through. Unfortunately for him, nothing is really there, and he's kind of mismatched them anyway. So if you do that, you want to put them on return fire, and then when you're ready, release it so that both fire simultaneously, because now you're basically announcing that you're going to be there, and you know, your opponent would have time to move things in here, and the strike would have been absolutely useless. Valentine just sniped the transport over there. As I might actually get unloaded here or take damage, which no, it does not. So lucky there for Gustgod, who's now pushing in, off map being called in as a response. So that can work. You know, you can use off maps defensively. Ooh, artillery is already focusing the Nebelwerfer there, which is already packed up and moved. Oh, but unloaded because of the suppression. Yeah, Nebelwerfer in the forest is generally speaking not a good idea. Now if Gustgod is... yeah, Gustgod's still moving it. No, he has not. No, now he's manually moving it. They should move this manually too. Yeah. Because now, you know, if this goes down, it's at least not going to take the Nebel with it. This one will also need to be moved. But yeah, as for the off-map, you can use it defensively. It's just very often not the best use. Usually putting some actual units there to hold things long run are better. Because eventually, like the off-map, unless it's going to kill, which 152 is probably not going to do reliably enough, your opponent will still push in. So unless you're afraid of being pushed out of positions that you cannot get in otherwise, defensive off-maps, in my opinion, are not really worth it. Again, sometimes they can work if you know it's taking too long for you to get reinforcements, but I think you could have gotten reinforcements like in here and still that would still allowed him to counter push. There we go. Ammo got killed, but at least the Nebel is alive. This is how you have to handle it. This one should be moved as well, though. In the town, Gustgod actually pushing it back to bring it to 13-11 with him re-grabbing both flags over here. But Samuel is getting a little bit too close to the front line for my liking. But yeah, as I was also going to say, this is why you're not going to put Nebelwerfers into the forest, by the way, because it's just too slow. Especially for like a slow transport like this one. Makes it even more painful, which is not much you can do about that. But just pointing out. But generally speaking, you want to have them at least on, you know, like in the open, or on a road, which is even better because then you're faster at moving away, because this can very easily happen to you. And if you have super slow transports, they can easily get killed. OT-44-45 pokes out again. Pack 40 finally spots it, and it's going to go after it. No pen yet, a bounce yet. Wow. Off-map did go down, did stop the push, going to go down again. Pack 40 still fails pen T-40-45. And T-40-45 is now either out of vision or out of range. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the off-map. Now, Gustgod actually moved directly into it. But at this point, I think with the reinforcement that came in and are coming, the off-map is just not needed anymore. So it's a bit of waste. And Gustgod's next wave, which is about to come, could do significantly more damage. 85 mil is actually going to stop that HS-129 over here. Well, it's not really going to stop it. Cobra can now get on the back of it. So Gustgod's going to lose both this since the Nimrod here died. Yeah, generally I wouldn't push Nimrods like too close. Or any AA for that matter. Like this, you don't want the Nimrod to be seen by something up close that you haven't cleared out yet. So like Nimrod down here would be close enough. Considering that Gustgod hasn't cleared this out yet. This is still close enough, but this is still very close, but you know, this is still okay. This, definitely not okay. Now, it looks like Dédé is now using the last charge of the off-map to counter push here. And unfortunately for Gustgod, this is going to hit both his Nebelwerfers. That's horrible. I mean, yeah, you just don't need, like, this is... I don't know. I don't like putting my artillery right next to the area where I usually have units, which is over here. But this is just very unfortunate. I don't think that Gustgod could have expected this. It's charging up, but it's not going to get a charge off. And one of them is next to the ammo, so that one is likely going to die. And as soon as the ammo is going to get hit, it's going to explode. And this happens relatively quickly. It's falling back, so maybe it's going to save it. Gustgod needs to fall back his Nebels immediately, or he's going to lose them probably. There we go. Oh. No. Nebel got killed. The other one is pushed back. Horrible losses there for Gustgod. And again, Stück goes down as well. So it's basically nothing left here. So the off-map actually is paid off. Still, in my opinion, not the best call in here since he's actually bought infantry regardless. This kind of situation where, okay, he's used the off-map, but the infantry could have done what the off-map has done as well. So was it really worth it? I don't think so. Now the question is, can he really make use of it? Gustgod losing another leader here. Yikes. Or is that just going to give Gustgod some breathing room in a town where, you know, the lack of points being spent on will probably start showing. Still 13-11 by Gustgod, by the way. Like, this flag up here is really providing a lot of value for him. Ooh, Sherman now pushing through, though. The 75 mil can put an end to that, though. Sherman is falling back again, as it has probably been spotted, or at least it has noticed that it's a bit risky to move out there without any vision. Rozvetke got killed off. Quite a few Zvetka dying in this game, I have to say. And right taker needs to be careful though, because the Sherman will shred that. Right taker should win against Partisan DP though, but again, once the Sherman's going to get involved, things are going to look a little bit different over here. More Valentines coming in. Both 85 mils very close to each other. Interesting. Oh, I do hear something shooting over here. Oh, the Valentine's going after the one remaining right Jäger. It will pin that eventually. I'm surprised that this doesn't spot anything. Recon units can be so stealthy in these buildings. It's absolutely nuts. A lot of units can be, actually, not just recon. 85 mil going after the right Jäger over there. Tricky died, by the way. I've not noticed that earlier, actually. This two still alive. I would expect to see some heavy artillery by Gustgod eventually to soften up some of these areas. But yeah, I mean, the drop here, no follow-up there by Dédé, which is very odd. Gustgod actually got the turtle like a sock in here, and Dédé's not pushing it to that. Interesting. He's bringing out the Karadushka now. They can only move in there and pin things. It can't actually take ground. Tanker now coming in. Okay. That's, again, a bit of an overcommitment considering he has tankers over here. So I think that is some weird things we see there. Gustgod, oh, he's trying to... Okay, he's a little bit too close. He's trying to... See, his thinking is probably if he can pin whatever is in here, that would flip the flank team since it's already close to him. Where he's failing, though, is that he's putting it down like over here. But if you draw the line through the front line over here, you would arrive like into this direction, and then you have to take the same distance, and you end up with the tanker. So it's just way too close. Like if you have a front line, draw a straight line through the point that you wanna, grab like the right angle, 90-degree angle, and then same distance, and this is where the other unit is. Unless you have multiple units, then things get complicated. But if you assume it's just like one unit and not a one unit, that is how it usually goes. Oh, Pack 40 doing some close support. SSI Penny will definitely force the tank over there. There we go. More Valentines coming in. This range, very dangerous for the Stück. They will pin it. Over here, Bazooka moving in, but might get spotted out. No, it's probably not going to get spotted out. Interesting. Nope. That's what I take it though. That one got spotted out very quickly by two Karadushkas, so it's going to get wiped over there. Things got stale again, and they're still leading quite significantly. Or Counter Battery focus on the last remaining Nebel. There we go. Down he goes. So Gustgod has really lost a lot over here. But Dédé has waited a little bit too long. Gustgod is at least reinforcing, so that can definitely make a difference over here. Might still grab the flag over here though. Finally dug out F1 Tatalak Haroshaje. Morse's freeze going after the Schwarlows over here now. I think he's trying to grab this flag, however he'll probably fail in doing that. Oh, right, take it here, probably got the kill, right? It has... No. What's the Stück? Okay, interesting. Valentania can't spot anything just yet. Not a row of these guys coming. I guess they're going to be used as meat shield by the look of it. That's right, Jäger moving in here to deal with the Valentine. There's no infantry to prevent it anymore. Actually, Dédé is super weak in a town, and Gustgod is taking advantage of it very nicely. I do see an opening for two flags here if Gustgod plays it right. Dédé is reinforcing now, but I'm not sure if the Guarda DP arrive in town. And the Tanko is okay, but it's not, it's not the CQC unit you need in the town, and that would be the AFTO. Still good, don't get me wrong. Karatushka pushing in here, but it's round 2 is there, can deal with them. As Strajteger though, and Tatagarasok got pushed off. The Karatushka might not be able to surrender it though, because the recon is not going to affect the front line. Reinforcements are coming in. Tankos though, holding this quite nicely. Gustgod has used a lot of his right panier in the town, and he doesn't have an insane amount of those. So that might just be the last. He can still overwhelm the tanker though with the Tatalak, but he needs to have the numbers. He lost the flag up north here as well now. Gained one in the town though. Nope, he lost that again. How is he still on 12-12? Because... Oh no, now he's gained this one. Oh no. Yeah, true. This one is red at the start. So he's up by 1. Now he's up by 2. Guarda DP coming in. Probably a little bit too close. Maybe the units are not in position to punish him for it. But still, he's going to be outnumbered over there. More Valentines coming in now. Reinforcements down south as well, though. We haven't seen the Cobra in quite a while, so quite surprised by that. I mean, this is one of these things where, you know, you want to, if you have planes, you want to use them as often as you can. Unless if you like a target that you really want to wait till you get the seat. Oh, Valentine might get picked off here by the pack forward, but T-3045 probably spotted it and will respond. No, it spotted the Toronto over here. Range really matters, so this is where this thing can be a pain for Gustgod, and doesn't really have any 2k. He could bring 88s, which he didn't. But that's about it. There's no more 2k on that. Oh yeah, Turan's easily overwhelmed the Guevara DP. This flag looks like it's going to be secure for the time being. No artillery on Gustgod's side yet. Turan's moving in. Sherman just barely not spotted by the 75mm. Oh, Sherman might actually be able to spot the Turans though. Should coming in as well. Well, that's probably not going to go well for the Sherman. Or at least I think. More Gavardis coming in. Danzav Dushka. Right when he tries to force it off, which he can kill it, but it is a little bit too bold, especially if you have the Turan over there, so there was just no need for that. Rusvetka moving in here as well. Not like Haroshaje tries it against the Tanko. The problem is just it's going to get easily forced off, I would think. Schwadlers are actually pushed forward. Got spotted out by the 5mm here now. Had a go at shooting at it though, by the looks of it. Oh, and there we go. Tango's easily forced it back. As I take a no, this is not the right unit to push in there. Turan 2 spots the Karadushka now. Rozvedka are going to get in. They're going to get the kill on the Turan 2s. So I take it, they get the molly treatment, and they're going to get forced off. Turan 2 pushing a little bit too close. Rozvedka are going to see it. And should easily kill it at range. Down he goes. Third level for Gustgod still, though, as he's still holding the town. He continues to push the Gavana DP back. Now, Cis 3 are being pushed forward, probably for their AT capabilities. Another 50mm mortar coming in. I'm not sure how much that can still do, because there's no, like, really angle for his infantry to pin anything afterwards. There's no single unit that is, you know, you can easily pin that would flip the balance over here. So that is a bit of a problem there. Interesting engagement over here. The tanker could push it up and kill the leader, but Fullsteader doesn't know that. That's just a leader there. Not a leader coming in. You haven't actually seen many of Dédé's leader in a while. There's one up north. That's about it. Stug is getting ready, but can't see the Sherman yet. The Turans, on the other hand, can... Oh, get the kill! Wow. That's huge. Asrapania here will win against Partiziani. Another one coming in as well, though. That's probably not going to end super well. Oh, Valentine gets taken out here by what? Did she straight, or did it get taken out by a 2-run 1? Wow. That range, not too bad. Tis 3 moving on. Does now spot the Turan. Turan responding, though. Oh, gets taken out with the Valentine. The help of the Valentine. So Gustgod's armor slowly getting grinded down in the town again. So maybe we see the town flip again. Maybe. Larger push over here though. Rozvedka got spotted. Oh, the tankers are out of molly, so this thing can actually finally come in and get a grenade off. And that will be the end of that tanko. Maybe Gustgod ends up having the... winning the long game here. Yep. Looks like it. Turan 2 survives the strike by the Air Cobra. Interesting, because this thing can definitely kill tanks. It's a bit of a hit and miss by that when it comes to that by the looks of it. Because I have definitely seen this completely annihilating multiple tanks in one game. It's super annoying. Another off-map coming, so Dédé has saved up a lot for that. At least he has some forces here to follow up, but I'm not really sure he's nothing ready right now to do it. So again, I'm not fully convinced of that off-map. It's not a bad one by any means, but I think probably this would be better. Hit that first, then you can clear that, and then you can actually safely approach this. Because now it's not so sure if you can really get through there. SSI Aufklär now coming in. Interesting. There we go. SSI Pinier is going to win again, out against Tanko. And this flag secured 14-10 for Gustgod once again. To round 1. Spots probably the Valentine's going to get a side shot, get a pen. It's going to get another one, but this one bounces. Valentine, pens. Round 1 actually manages to move out of line of sight. Not sure what the Valentine is spawning now. Probably the infantry. The round 2. AP turn off again. So a nice micro there by Gustgod, remembering to do that. Off map is falling down here and now. This is the right move there. Very good by Dédé. He's immediately following up with the next off map. This is what he needs to do. But he also needs to follow up and actually move in. Because if these units can recover from the off map, it's not good. Turan gets a kill on the Valentine. Sherman, the leader, being called in to help out clear out whatever is there. Another pack 40 came into the open here. Interesting. More Turans coming in. Gustgod is not running out of those, is he? But yeah, I mean, nothing's happening, so Gustgod's unit can actually start recovering. They have definitely taken damage. It's not like the off map didn't have an effect. But the Turan is also still here, so this is one of the issues with this. Oh no! Turan's going to get a pen on a T-3045. Is he going to get the kill here? T-3045 is not yet noticed. Now he has. Now Turan is bouncing though, as it should. T-34 misses because he's shooting on a move. Why doesn't it stop? It should stop. It should stop with this move, with this order. Turan 2 pushing forward. Now this thing, of course, we have to look at this. He's turned it off though, which is a major mistake. But this thing does quite a lot of damage, so this thing is also an infantry killer. It's a great infantry support tank, actually more than a light armor killer, really. But it won't do anything. T-45 got the kill on this round 2. This round 2, I think, was supposed to deal with it, but now he can't. 2 machine guns still work, but the DP at this range might actually be able to pin it. Leader here, re-establishing the front line. Guevara DPs are coming in here as well. Gustgod really needs to turn on the HE again. You can make these moves to, you know, support some tanks up close. To make sure that they can move in and deal with the tanks up close. But you also need to remember to turn it back on again. Otherwise, just rather stick to what he realistically can do. Oh, Talek Arcus got in his for now. Finding the Partisan is going to lose. That's that Aufklär. I mean, against the Partisani without Molotovs, it will probably win. Right? Actually, no. Don't think this is better than the 3 PPSHs. At the moment, it's not going to do... Oh, it has an IT grenade, though, so it's going to kill the Valentine, at least. There we go. Partisan DP spotted it, but no, they're spotting the leader. Yeah, Gustgod's attack here is maybe a little bit unfortunate. Oh! So the first spots out, catches out the Partisani out of cover. This is, of course, where they will win if they're MP44. Pick 3 here, and Sherman trying to do some support. Have not spotted each other yet. More Schwalas are coming in. It's possible that Gustgod has started running low or out of on infantry. This 3 going after pack 40. The other 2 have died. No, they've moved forward here again. For 80. I remember. Still alive, actually. Things are slowing down in channel. Do you see SSN 6 is now coming in? For the town, they can definitely do a lot of good work over there. Flag though, secured by Gustgod for the time being. Another one for him, 14-10 now by what? Oh, he's re-established control over here with the Stück just ballsily pushing forward. That flare has avoided the Partisani so far. The Flamer will probably finish that off. This Partisani doesn't really have any, and it doesn't have shock to what I can recall. No, it does not. So that should lose this fight, I would think. Maybe not, but a 75 mil definitely helps. I think it would still have lost. I do think so. Oh, 85 mil going after pack 40 now. So that one is retreating. Down south, looks like things are quiet now. TTF coming back in up north. And there's no AA preventing that MT42 coming, so it looks like Dédé doesn't have an awful lot of infantry left either. Stück is probably actually going to kill that. Yep, there we go. Another Guevara DP pushing in. BF1 might finally get a kill. No, it is too fast and overshoots. These are out of HE though. So no AA duty over there. No Nimrod coming in either though. Cobra going after the Stug, failing to get a kill here though. Gonna try and go after the BF-19, but because Dédé is not paying attention, he's actually overshoots without even getting close to shooting at the BF-19, which Gustgod is nicely maneuvering away, but the BF-19 is still gonna get on the back and might get a kill here. Yeah, now Gustgod screwed up with our micro and Dédé actually nailed it. Oh, he's not microing at all actually, never mind. Now Cobra's being called back. 14-10 for Gustgod still though. But that's another good kill there, although the loss of the recon plane would definitely be felt, especially now that there's not that much AA left on Gustgod's side. Looks like the SK Sentinel here actually die as well. Don't know to what might have been the off-map. Hesitate of Claire being called in here. Gustgod is definitely running out of ammo, of infantry. Yeah, look at that. We only see Schwarlose coming in and this thing. So that is not a good sign, and that can definitely matter at this point in the game, because again, how you just cannot defend the town with just Schwarlose. And these are not a good unit. Now, here with the MP44s, maybe, but even now you can see that it's just very slowly pinning this. That's not really a good sign. Oh, Schwarlose though in the right spot to pin a lot of infantry. And then Nimrod, I guess, can still work as anti-infantry tool, but still, you need some actual infantry in there. Not a push attempt here by Dédé. Thran is coming in now to deal with the Valentine. More Schwarlose are coming in just to, oh yeah, hold the flanks over here. It's a good move because that, you know, from here you have a good angle on these units, and you just can make sure that you can stop them from pushing further forwards to actually start contesting this flank. 34, not 34, sorry. 85 mil actually very close now, very dangerous. I think can realistically die, but I mean, that is getting dangerous. Desperate probably, as Gustgod has now overtaken him when it comes to tickets, so that is not looking very good. This is the one time where, again, turning off the HE would have helped, but, you know, it's got the kill. It's now spotting the Valentine. Valentine spotted the Turan 2 as well, and down he goes, the Turan. Valentine's still alive and being able to dominate over here. Nothing coming in to replace it. More Turans coming in for the center. As more SS-76 on Dédé's side are actually finding their way into the town as well. 39 still for Gustgod though. Oh, there we go, 85 mil is pinned. I'm surprised that Gustgod hasn't actually brought out any, you know, any artillery piece throughout the whole game, because the 149 is fantastic. Oh, Stück 3 did go down over here to the SS-76. No 18 here except for the SS-Light Aufklär, which is now going to get caught out by the Gavada DP over there. And once Gustgod loses that flag, that's going to be the 1311 gone again. He needs to be a little bit careful with that. Well, let's see where's Gavada DP. DP actually wins the fight and is going to push forward. He can kill the Nimrod with the AT rifle, so the Gustgod has to be very careful now. The Nimrod can still shred the Gavada DP. That is also very much true. But we don't see... Oh, a Stück coming in and south. Okay, so Gustgod's really afraid of this Valentine actually pushing through here and grabbing this flag again. Because I was going to say, nothing is going to come in, but apparently we do see still some reinforcements. But I can imagine Gustgod really running out now, because he has also spammed around a lot of the Shrans, since they are just very cheap and very spammable. But eventually you're not going to have any left. Yeah, there's another Stück coming in and another Schwarlose up north. As Gustgod just tries to push in there. I think he's out of Turans. I think he's out of infantry and Turans. He's calling in his last Stücks at the moment, probably. I'm also not sure if he really has many machine guns left, since also there's quite a few of those. There we go, Nimrod gonna get a kill on the Gavadia. C-76, did it spot the Nimrod? No, it spots the Schwarlose over there. They're actually also pretty good as infantry support. That needs to be set. Stück moving into a weird spot, where, okay, he doesn't want to be exposed to the road here. I just want to cover this off safely, I guess. Oh no, never mind, there's another Turan. 2 Turans, actually. 2 Turan 2. There we go. But 49 minutes, it's not going to be much longer, and Dédé just would have, I think, needed to push everything forward somehow and grab some flags. But I think he's also out of infantry. No, still has it. Interesting. I think Dédé's issues was really that he bought 2 off-maps that achieved not all that much. He got back in here, but he had one charge that did basically nothing. He used another charge that did a little bit of something, and then he had the actual units moving in. It's just, again, and I think this off-map here too, it actually got the kills here, so we have to give it that. It was not actually wasted, but still, I think he didn't use it to its full potential, and he pays for that. There's 2 expensive units. I mean, at the end of the day, it's, yeah, there we go, 320 points that he spent on both those combined. He has not gotten that much value out of it, and there we go, that is horrendous. Gustgod is going to win game 2 as well, and is going to make it into the semifinals. Now, to give you a little spoiler there, unfortunately for him, the semifinals, he met Chimsterhacks, who, yeah, I think is a very, very strong player. And he's only in Division 3 because he is very rusty. Otherwise, he would have been in Division 2 or 1 for sure. And, yeah, because of that, Gustgod unfortunately didn't make it. Look at that, trades were actually quite equal. But yeah, Gustgod didn't make it, but he can still play for 3rd place against... sorry, I can't recall. But he can still try to play for 3rd place. Whereas in the finals, we were going to have Chimsterhacks against... Yeah, I also don't remember what the other matchup is. But it's going to be Chimsterhacks for sure against someone else in Division 3. I just can't recall. I'm truly sorry. But either way, it was a great game. Again, trades were relatively equal. If you look at the chronology, Gustgod definitely got some good trades at the very start. So he got pushed back, but he got good trades, but that then changed again. So he couldn't really make ground again, but then, oh, we do see another blob of Gustgod actually doing quite well. So I guess this is probably how he managed to turn it around, as it just slowly out-traded Dédé. Well, Dédé was being offensive and Gustgod was in the defense. And then it started turning again a little bit. Oh, look at that. That was a good killing series there. The loss of this was also huge. And then got a bit of Gustgod, a bit of Dédé. Relatively balanced in the end. In the very end, Gustgod got not a good kills. Some more good kills again, because I think this is where Dédé didn't really have the right units for the situation. In terms of kills, the sniper actually got some units at the start. It's nice. Sherman doing Sherman things, not really surprised by that. Valentine, yeah, Valentines are disgusting. And, you know, the counter tool is very well, and Turan's in my opinion. Partizani, actually doing quite some work here. I think this was in the first patch up north where the 50 mil helped as well. 50 mils, of course, being very good. Oh, yeah, this Sis3 did, yeah, 1A5 once again being underwhelming. Sis3 is countering them very well, actually. Not Sherman doing Sherman things. Generally speaking, yeah, the tanks of 3rd performed very well, and we knew that from the start. Like, we expected. I would have been very surprising if they didn't. You have to really badly use your tanks in order to achieve that, which Dédé, of course, did not do. He used them properly against those Tyrans. Yeah, that's basically that. On the other side, some tanks doing some work, but not nearly as good as the mechanized tanks. But the infantry actually quite a surprising amount of work too. The Stücks performed decently well as well. Anything else? Oh, look at that. The one of them actually killed the 50 mil. Yeah, mostly the SSI deck, which, I mean, at double that, they're going to shrek quite significantly, especially considering that they're up against like inferior units like Soviet ones that are cheaper, but not that much cheaper. So I think that's another important part about the performance of those. Here we go. Pack 40 actually getting quite some value there too. Oh, one of the Nimrods did go ham. Wow. I haven't even seen. That must have been the one that was in the town and then got killed, because it looks like that one actually... Yeah, that's where we've seen most of the SS76s and the 85. That's what happens in the town towards the end, probably, where it got that kill, and we just have not noticed. But either way, great game, great content. Hope you enjoyed it too. Have a great day and see you all in the next one.